CompTIA Tech FC0-U71 Practice Exam. Question 1. When using a graphical user interface to open a file, which factor is most critical in determining which application will be used to open it? File size, file extension, file location, file creation date. The file extension tells the operating system which application should open the file by default, e.g., .docs opens with Microsoft Word, .jpg opens with an image viewer. The OS uses file association settings that link extensions to specific programs. Question 2. In database terminology, which of the following best describes a record? A single piece of data in a table. A collection of related fields that represents a single item or entry. A query that retrieves specific information. A unique identifier for a row. A record is a group of related data fields stored together as one unit, typically representing a single entity, such as a customer, product, or transaction. Records are stored as rows in a table with each column representing a specific field. Question 3. Which of the following devices is specifically designed to extend the range and coverage of a wireless network? Router, switch, access point, modem. An access point links to a wired network and broadcasts a wireless signal, enabling more devices to connect while expanding the network's range. It acts as a bridge between wired and wireless segments, improving coverage where signals from other network devices cannot reach. Question 4. A company learns that a critical security flaw has been discovered in a commonly used application. Which action is most effective to address this vulnerability? Uninstall the application. Apply updates. Disable the firewall. Change user passwords. Applying updates, patches, is the best way to secure software against a known vulnerability because patches contain fixes that close security gaps. Vendors release these updates to address weaknesses before attackers can exploit them. Question 5. An IT administrator suspects employees visited unauthorized websites. Which is the best source to confirm this activity? System logs, web browser history, firewall logs, network traffic captures. Web browser history records the websites visited by a user, including URLs, timestamps, and page titles. It directly reflects the user's online web activity, making it the primary source for verifying whether inappropriate or unauthorized content has been accessed. Question 6. An organization implements a rule requiring employees to change passwords every 90 days. Which security practice does this describe? Password complexity, password encryption, password expiration, password hashing. Password expiration is a security policy that sets a time limit on how long a password can be used before it must be changed. Requiring regular password changes helps prevent stolen or compromised credentials from being used indefinitely. Question 7. Which encryption method is specifically used to protect data at rest? SSL/TLS, file-level encryption, IPsec, HTTPS. File-level encryption is used to protect data at rest, information stored on a device or storage medium, not actively moving across a network. By encrypting individual files, organizations can focus protection on sensitive documents or critical data sets. Question 8. Which of the following represents the smallest unit of digital storage? Bit, kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte. A kilobyte is the smallest unit listed among the options. In increasing order, the common units are bit, byte, kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte, terabyte, and petabyte. While the bit is the smallest unit overall, kilobyte is the smallest unit in this list. Question 9. A resident in a rural location has no access to wired connections or cellular towers, but needs reliable internet. Which is the best option? DSL, fiber optic, satellite, cable. Satellite internet is ideal for remote areas where wired infrastructure and cellular coverage are unavailable. It uses satellites in orbit to beam internet connectivity directly to a dish at the user's location, bypassing the need for local cabling or towers. Question 10. Which display connection type supports bidirectional data transfer? HDMI, VGA, DisplayPort, USB-C. USB-C supports bidirectional data transfer, meaning it can both send and receive data through the same connection. It can transmit video, audio, data, and even power in either direction simultaneously, allowing a single cable to replace multiple separate connections. Question 11. A technician needs to review a manual while working outdoors in bright sunlight. Which device provides the best screen visibility? Laptop, tablet, smartphone, e-reader. An e-reader uses an ink display that mimics paper, making it easy to read even in direct sunlight. Unlike backlit screens on laptops, tablets, or smartphones, ink screens reduce glare and eye strain outdoors, making e-readers best for reading documentation in bright environments. Question 12. A company updates its security policy to require passwords with at least 8 characters, including uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and special characters. Which best describes this requirement? Password expiration, password complexity, password history, password reuse. Password complexity refers to rules that make passwords harder to guess by requiring a mix of characters, such as upper and lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols. Strong complexity requirements reduce the effectiveness of brute force and dictionary attacks. Question 13. A design team uses AI tools to automatically create and edit images for a project. Which type of AI are they most likely using? Predictive AI, assistive AI, generative AI, analytical AI. Generative AI is designed to create or modify content such as images, video, audio, and text. For image editing, it can add new details, apply styles, or even generate entirely new pictures from prompts. It is widely used in creative work to quickly produce high-quality original content. Question 14. Given pseudocode with body and paragraph tags, HTML, which language type is being used? Scripting language, markup language, compiled language, query language. This example uses a markup language which structures and formats text rather than performing calculations or logic. HTML, hypertext markup language, organizes content for display on web pages using tags that define meaning or format. Question 15. A technician needs to type specific instructions rather than clicking through menus. Which allows the technician to input commands for the computer to execute? GUI, console, file explorer, desktop. A console, command line interface or CLI, is where users can type commands that the computer will execute directly. Unlike a graphical interface which relies on menus and icons, the console provides text-based control for powerful and precise system management. Question 16. A technician is setting up a new desktop PC and must install input devices so the user can interact with the system. Which should the technician install? CPU and RAM, mouse and keyboard, printer and speakers, storage drive. Input devices allow a user to enter data and interact with a computer. The mouse and keyboard are the most common input devices, enabling tasks such as typing commands, navigating interfaces, and selecting items on screen. CPU, RAM, and storage drives are internal components, not input devices. Question 17. Employees post phone numbers and personal email addresses of celebrities in an online forum. Which security concept is being compromised? Confidentiality, privacy, integrity, availability. Privacy refers to safeguarding personal or sensitive details from being shared without permission. Revealing private phone numbers or email addresses in a public setting violates privacy, since this data could be exploited for spam, harassment, or social engineering attacks. Question 18. A user accidentally downloads an infected file from the internet. Which would best protect the computer? Firewall, anti-malware, VPN, backup software. Anti-malware software is specifically designed to detect, quarantine, and remove malicious files from a computer. When an infected file is downloaded, anti-malware can scan the file, identify harmful code, and block it from executing, protecting the system from damage. Question 19. A user compares two smartphones and wants to know which has more memory for running applications. Which unit measures RAM capacity in smartphones? MB, KB, GB, TB. Smartphone RAM capacity is typically measured in gigabytes, GB. Modern smartphones commonly include RAM in the range of 4 to 16 gigabytes, which allows them to run apps smoothly and handle multitasking. Question 20. A technician identifies the cause of a printer issue, applies the repair, and confirms the fix by printing a test page. According to troubleshooting methodology, what should the technician do next? Close the ticket. Document findings and actions taken. Notify the user. Restart the printer. Once the problem has been resolved and verified, the next step is to document findings and actions taken. Recording what caused the issue, how it was fixed, and the steps performed creates a valuable reference for future troubleshooting and strengthens organizational knowledge. Question 21. In computing, how many bits are contained in a single byte of data? 4, 6, 8, 16. A byte is made up of 8 bits, with each bit representing a binary value of 0 or 1. This standard unit of measurement is the foundation of digital storage and data representation, essential for working with file sizes, memory, and storage capacity. Question 22. A user notices slow internet performance and finds unauthorized devices connected to the Wi-Fi. Which action would best prevent future unauthorized access? Enable MAC filtering. Change the password. Disable SSID broadcast. Upgrade the router. Changing the Wi-Fi password is the most effective way to stop unauthorized devices from reconnecting to the network. Once the password is updated, only users with the new credentials will be able to access the Wi-Fi. This should be paired with strong encryption, such as WPA2 or WPA3. Question 23. A user is working on their laptop at a busy coffee shop and worries it might be stolen if they step away. Which physical device would best secure the laptop? Biometric scanner, cable lock, motion sensor, privacy screen filter. A cable lock physically secures a laptop to a desk or other stationary object, making it much harder for someone to steal the device in a public place. It attaches through a security slot on the laptop and is one of the simplest and most effective physical security measures for portable devices. Question 24. A user cannot connect from their workstation to another workstation on the same network. Which should be configured to resolve this issue? Proxy server, firewall, DNS server, DHCP server. A firewall controls which network traffic is allowed to enter or leave a device. If two workstations cannot connect, the firewall settings may be blocking the communication. Adjusting the firewall to permit the required traffic enables the devices to communicate properly while maintaining network security. Question 25. A user logs into a company website, but the browser continues to autofill outdated credentials in the login form. What should the user do first to resolve this issue? Update the browser. Clear the cache. Reset the password. Reinstall the browser. Clearing the cache deletes stored website data that may cause old or outdated login information to reappear in forms. Once the cache is cleared, the browser reloads fresh data from the site, ensuring the latest credentials and content are used.